we're just gonna have a high clan episode, at least for now. Some people
High clan is best clan.
Yeah. Some people are unavailable, unfortunately, but I think it's actually quite good. We can just have you guys play in the same time span.
Okay.
And see it from your guys' perspective, and some of the same events that occurred might occur to you as well, or at least you're gonna figure it out. But just gonna start off with Alex.
Okay.
Can you explain how your night started and what you've been doing?
Okay, so my night started with getting up and checking in on Judith and getting ready for the concert and kind of prepping for everything. He has his concert at Pairidaeza, which is his kind of club, in which he also has his haven situated in another location. But it's kind of a venue. It's kind of a club situation that is set up for select people. Like, in other words, you have to pay to get in. It's not just like show up and that sort of thing. It's kind of a special kind of event and venue for people that have a certain level of
prestige.
Yes, exactly. Prestige and membership that's kind of what it's all about, is that special level of membership. Everybody is vetted that comes in there. They are checked over, their IDs are looked at and things like that. So he's got his security on all those details. There's everything is above board on premises there, because he doesn't want to, wants to make sure that, he's all over that stuff. He's a rock star, but he's also Ventru. So he's all over making sure that
nothing goes wrong.
Right, exactly. Nothing goes wrong. But it's very important to maintain his mortal human image there. And, because to him, to Alex, that's really key and central. He wants to work with people, and he wants to make sure that, he maintains that mortal presence as much as possible. So that the whole concert is set up.
And I believe there's something with bath salts, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, exactly. So, he's got the backup, the band and everything there that, he brings in and that sort of thing. And he also has, he's also promoting. He's basically promoting his new line of bath salts. And so that's kind of something he's doing. I can go ahead and bring that up here. I think I had yes, they're called Shattered Crystals. And so it's like he's branding it, because on brand is important. Again, Ventru, he may be like a celebrity and that sort of thing, but he's pretty much had the regular Ventru 101 stuff beaten into him. Manage your finances, run a business, know about kindred history, that sort of thing. So he's all about marketing and getting his products out there. He has his own personal reasons for that, but yes, everybody who showed up got first dibs on the new product that he's releasing. Because Alex has great skin and everything like that. He's he looks like he doesn't age, right? So everybody wants in on that. Everybody wants to be like, oh yeah, this guy definitely knows a thing or two, and these are the bath salts he uses. So yeah.
I have two questions.
Okay.
First of all, is the event televised or is it private?
It is. Let's put it this way: it's not live on television, but it will be recorded. He does that to make sure that there's editing that needs to happen there. But if it were televised and live, that would be a little bit more difficult to manage. And so he wants the exclusivity of people being able to get in there and experience it themselves without everybody else being able to do that. So yeah.
And your securities policy on the press, what's that? Like if a journalist shows up?
They're vetted.
So,
Certain press members are trusted. They've developed relationships because, of course, he's a celebrity.
so it's by invitation only.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Certain press members are allowed in because their background has been checked. They have proven to be trustworthy, that sort of thing. If they burn that bridge, they're cut off
Yeah.
and somebody else is replaced. But because it's an exclusive event, because it's not live, because there's a certain privilege and prestige to it. Everybody wants in on this in terms of getting the story. So whoever is invited gets a scoop. Like literally, it's just like they're in on it when nobody else is able to. So yeah, that's the way he
you're doing them a favor.
That's right, exactly. I'm doing them a favor. I'm doing their career a favor. So yeah, they don't want to burn that bridge. So yeah, he ensures loyalty that way. It's important to him. He doesn't want anybody, causing him more problems than he already has. So yeah,
for sure. The event,
but it's in. Go ahead.
It goes flawlessly, exactly as planned. There are not even the slightest technical hiccup or anything like that.
Yeah,
it's very smooth. People are very happy, and I mean you're very in it and you're performing and everything. But at the end of the performance, at the very back of the room, you see Bradford standing there, as almost like a statue, unfazed by the crowd and the atmosphere and anything. He's just staring directly at you. Not with a mean look, but I mean he looks mean naturally, but it's just he's not even blushed or anything like that.
Yeah,
he's just there, and you just as you finish your encore or your last number, you just sort of see him standing there, almost like you're peering through the crowd, like he wants you to see him.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Alex is going to, kind of give him a little bit of a gesture because he assumes he sees him, and since they're eye to eye, he's going to, do you, as if to communicate, do you want to see me? Like, is this a thing that needs to happen right now? Like.
He starts walking around the crowd. It's almost like they're moving
perimeter,
away from him without even noticing. Almost like he's just pushing them, and they're not even aware that he's there. And he's starting to walk what I assume would be like a backstage area or prep area where you head out. So you don't walk into the crowd.
Right, exactly.
Obviously he's gonna reach a guard at some point, but you don't think you even have guards that he can't get past.
Yeah.
So it's up to you if you want to let your staff know or just want to wait for him.
I will let them know that there's a particular guest here that Alex needs to see. Just real quick. Over the walkie. There's someone here. I need to see him. He describes Bradford. Very quickly.
He's the only one in the late 1900s naval uniform.
Right,
so
exactly. looks like a Victorian era cosplayer. He's just gonna be like, it's all good. Take him back to the private room. To a private room. I'll go and let him know that I'll be there momentarily. And Alex is going to be like, hey, it's a great night. Share and like all the things that you obviously send out the social media influencers and everything like that.
There's the usual screaming crowd and the
signs with
have my baby and everything.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. And so that is, that's definitely something that he's going to basically finish up everything there. And it's been great. Love you guys. And then he's going to head out back, off stage. So have a great night, all that stuff, just basically, they can, it's going to wind down into the kind of after concert type of thing. Some people can stay, some people can go home, all will be watched and escorted and that sort of thing, like
I also imagine as soon as you walk out, staff will walk in with trays with
right, exactly,
food
yeah,
and drinks on them.
That's right. So it's kind of like that after concert wind down, into just refreshments and people enjoying their time there. So yeah, some people can stay, some people will go home. That's what's going to happen.
I
so
imagine
Alex is,
you're going to have a lot of chickens at the resort.
yeah. Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. And then that also helps with the revenue stream and everything else. And so yeah, absolutely. So what he is going to do now is, because this seems to be at least where Bradford's involved, he knows that he doesn't show up without a purpose. So he knows that he needs to address that. He's going to make sure that Judith is taken care of for the moment, and off in her own little place. Just let security know that he will be with her momentarily.
I think she's in your penthouse at the moment.
Yeah. So, but she should not be in this meeting with Bradford. Like he should not. That should not be a thing. So, all right. So Alex is going to go ahead and meet with Bradford and find out what it is the old man wants.
He's standing out in the staff area waiting for you.
Okay.
You can see visibly your staff is nervous. They are trying to be respectful and polite and offer him things, but you can hear the tremble in their voices and the gaze of they don't want to look him in the eyes, those eyes with the red tint, and he's not bothered by them. And whenever they ask him something, he just waves them away, like,
yeah,
and almost like he's talking in their mind. They do exactly that. They just leave.
Yeah.
And before long, you find yourself alone with him in this room.
Right.
And he looks at you and smiles, in a very try-hard way. It's
exactly.
It's not genuine.
Yeah.
It's just polite.
Yes.
And says to you, "What a performance, dear child."
Indeed, thank you. I do my best to put on a good show.
It's quite different from the violins and classical music that I'm used to, but it has its own flavor, almost.
Vibe, indeed. Yeah. Times they keep on changing, and sometimes bringing a new flavor of entertainment is a good thing. Keeps up with the humans, the mortals that we need to work with. So it's a good thing.
If you say so.
I do. Where would we be without all the beautiful people in the world?
He smiles genuinely this time, and he says, "Well, I'll leave that to my young protege to deal with those matters."
Indeed. How can I help you tonight?
Oh, I just came by to see how last night went, and if you figured anything out, any of the tasks. I assume that you would have contacted me had you gotten a hold of the cult, but
I'll tell you. Yeah, he says, "Well, you know what? I'll stop you right there. Last night was packed, from start to finish. It was a full night, and I think this problem is perhaps, I'm not sure how pressing you feel like it is, but it is. We are dealing with a number of different elements, and he's literally going to because he's going to be above board with Bradford right now. He's going to say, we uncovered a Sabbat presence, and this room is private, so there's no, they can use the words here, the terminology, and he describes the location. He also says there is evidence of. Oh,
that's where they dropped the bomb on your head, I guess. How fortunate you made it out alive.
Indeed, and I believe there's some evidence that they may be working for, who, that he's recruiting among the Sabbat, and
I wouldn't
also,
put it past him.
Indeed, but that's a little bit more. Between the two of us, that's a little bit more brash and dangerous than, considering the other factors, than I would have suspected for an individual who is quite a bit older. So, that took me by surprise a little bit, but he doesn't seem to be concerned about the current environment that has been hostile to all of us. So that was a little bit of a wake-up call. But beyond that, we have more than just OA to worry about. We have the Society of Leopold as well, apparently. Yeah.
Like we didn't have enough.
Exactly.
No, those
exactly.
Fanatics.
Exactly. We're surrounded by fanatics. And this, yeah. So I've uncovered potentially 2 other entities here that basically, it doesn't look good right now. We need to get this situation under control and make sure that things are locked down in a way that keeps us secure while all these pieces are moving around. So yes, we found that out.
I was told by Henry that you visited the Rebellious Fist. Did you have any delightful comments about me?
Well, nothing that you would be surprised by. Gabriel, as I'm sure you know, doesn't like you.
Oh, he has quite a mouth.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? He has quite a mouth. And not too much up here, right? It's more just, her.
You can't slap sense into a Bruja, and you can't really dominate them either.
No, it's he's more brawn, he's potentially a good tool to work with.
Oh, don't worry, I have what's the word they use, or the phrase, an iron grip on his balls at the moment.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So I like that.
He's not gonna do anything to hinder what we are trying to achieve.
That's good to know, because he talks like he can.
Brujas.
Yeah. So, he's being rebellious as a leader of the Rebellious Fist, as always, putting on a good show, perhaps. I had a good conversation with him, just to kind of make sure that we understand each other. It's important, not only for you, but also for me, to make sure that there's an understanding there that we're on the same page, so to speak. And he talked about you, not fondly, but I didn't expect that. I feel like what you just described is the only real way to handle a Bruja.
He's not fond of me taking away his child that he couldn't control.
Yeah. But in a time like this, if you can't control your child, then it's a problem.
It was years ago, but
yeah.
Unfortunately, Adrian had to suffer as well, since her child was affiliated with his, and it was just a whole mess. And it was an experiment. I tried to keep the peace, and they saw it another way. Apparently, I'm some sort of monster.
I can understand that completely. They don't always understand what's best for them. That's really what it boils down to.
They haven't had power for 600 years, and
exactly,
they keep behaving like adolescent humans.
That's right. That's right.
and let their passions govern them. But enough about
Indeed.
the low clans. I'm
Indeed.
very happy with the information you provided. Is there any lead on the cult? Any advancement? As a storyteller, I can tell you that you asked Nathaniel to look into it.
Yeah, I have asked Nathaniel to look into it, and I can't recall. Did he turn up anything? Whatever he's turned up, Alex would definitely share.
Oh, not yet. It was
Yeah,
yesterday, so
yeah. He would say that he's having people look into it. He says he's going to mention real quick. He's going to ask in a question. What is your relationship with, such as it is, as all relationships are, with Nathaniel?
Nathaniel is useful in keeping the masquerade, but he cannot be controlled and therefore is dangerous.
Okay.
He is he's an odd Bruja.
Yeah.
He is not prone to outbursts, and he is, as I've heard, very fast.
He is. I can
you-
confirm that. I've actually seen Nathaniel in action, so to speak. We were ambushed by agents of Operation Antigen.
Oh, I imagine that's why they dropped the bomb on your head.
Indeed, indeed. We need to.
I know very little of his origin. I have never met his sire, and I'm not sure how he acquired the power that he has. He has the thick blood of an elder, but he's only about 100 years old. So his sire must be ancient. And
Indeed.
he's not a typical Bruja either. I have some theories, but I have yet to confirm them. The thing I'm thinking about shouldn't be here anymore. It's a different bloodline of Bruja. But I haven't met one in centuries. They should be extinct.
Indeed. You would know then that Elaine is his child.
Yes, and Scarlet.
Yeah.
Elaine is fine. She's more Camarilla than anything, and I believe she says she's unaffiliated, but she has the right ideas, as you've heard. She's very logical. She's very rational, and she understands structure more than anything else. Her sister I've yet to meet, but I'm not inclined to hang out at some worn down pub in southeastern London.
It wasn't my first choice either. It was more a matter of circumstance, that it was necessary to
I'm glad
facilitate
that you
a meeting with them.
use what is presented to you, and quite adept at this.
Thank you. It's important qualities for a leader, as I've learned and been taught.
Can I jump scene here, just real quick?
Sure.
And we come, because I'm gonna interject and make you guys come together in a nice way. Naomi.
Yes.
What have you been up to since you got up?
Naomi has done a couple of things. More or less cleaned around her shop. She updated, got more supplies for her shop. She transferred some of her older plants to like bigger pots, and then put new seedlings into smaller ones. Layered that in her basement shelves because that's where most of her grow is. She took her coworkers, so like the people who run their shop. I think we only have 2, right? They went out for dinner one night just to kind of catch up. That's when she basically announced that her presence is not always going to be around as much as before, just to kind of like let them know that they might need to take a little bit more hours, discuss more of their scheduling, et cetera, et cetera.
Am I correct in that you're trying to expand your business, correct? Like acquiring the building next door, perhaps hiring more staff. Not that it has happened yet, but it's in the works, correct?
Yes, she also is going to go over with branding. She doesn't specifically do any graphic design herself, but she's looking to hire out. She's looking at a new design pattern for her packaging, possibly even a new business card even now. She is probably going to look to her coterie for that. But yes, she is looking to have a building to establish more of it's going to be more of a greenhouse style. So,
Because I believe that you needed more space for your plants and everything. And housing is obviously in London quite expensive. Like a shitty flat somewhere would probably be around £1,500 or some ridiculous shit like that. So maybe that would be a conversation to have with Alex. But your business is booming at the moment, so it might be a good time to expand.
Excellent.
And I believe there's also some sorcery you wanted to do.
Yes.
Making a potion.
Yes. I do want to roll for that. I want to update her potions. So should I roll for that now?
You need to make a rouse for the blood. Just to see if you get a little bit hungrier.
Yeah, I want to make a couple of cling of the insect.
Yes, you need to rouse for each, unfortunately. So maybe just start with one and see how hungry you get. But
Sweet,
you can keep going because the ingredient is very simple. It's just a spider.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Let me just check that. Oh, I actually didn't write the, so can you walk me through the steps of like which skill? Because I didn't actually write that.
Yes. If you scroll down into blood sorcery.
Okay.
All the way down, there's rituals.
Okay.
Next to the dots, there is a rouse button.
Just click on it?
Yeah, clicking with the insect, then you click that.
Okay.
You gain 1 hunger.
Okay.
So now you're 2. Then you are at the very far right. There's a different button. It's intelligence and discipline. It's gonna roll, and your difficulty is 2 because it's a level 1 ritual.
Okay. Accidentally, I think I did Coax of the Garden. Can I do Cling of Insect and then do the Intelligent Discipline? I apologize.
It's the same thing.
Oh, okay.
It's just a roll. All blood sorcery is intelligence and blood sorcery together, and the difficulty is the ritual level +1.
Oh, okay. So is that the modifier +1?
No, it's just
okay.
You just need how many dice did you roll there? I can't see you rolled any dice.
Really?
Let me see if I can do it this way. I don't know if it's there we go. The roll dice. It didn't do it with you. Try hitting the ritual roll button again in the far right side of the sheet.
Sure.
Because it's hard to get successes without dice.
Yeah.
2 is fine. You succeed in making 1 potion. Do you want to keep going?
2 would be nice because I'm down to 0, right?
So you already did another rouse, so you don't get hungrier, and you just do the roll again.
Okay.
4 is plenty. You have 2 potions now.
Sweet.
Unfortunately, none of them were a crit. Otherwise, they would have lasted an entire night on consumption.
Okay.
But yeah, you're not that hungry. It's fine. And you can always just drink some bags before you go out.
Yeah, also would like to update that, but so there's two ways. Like I know I can definitely go to the hospital and see about gathering some more, but also I can through the black market order some. But do you want me to roleplay out her going to like a specific spot?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
You can do a simple hunting roll,
Oh, okay.
and then something is going to be brought to you eventually.
Okay.
You're not all out yet, but it's
Okay.
always nice to keep the fridge stocked.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
I believe it's here. No, not
Yeah.
there. Where is it? It's been a while. We can't
That's
find.
okay.
We can't find anything now. Which tab is the hunting roll on, Alex? Can you remember?
It is blood and XP under that tab, and it's the predator roll. Right there.
There we go. Yeah, there's a button.
Can I fire away?
Yep, fire away. 4. 4 is plenty.
Beautiful.
Something's gonna arrive in a big cooled box eventually.
Beautiful.
In a very discreet manner.
Excellent. All right. I think I did have a couple of other things. Yeah, so I think this is at the point where she officially hangs one of her commissions on the wall. It's that vulture painting, a vulture with a wing expanded. It's painted in a little bit of abstract, but mostly realism. So she hangs it just above one of her side bedroom walls. It was something really meaningful for her, and she keeps it on display as a reminder of what it means to be a vampire for her. She's cleaned her whole place. As you enter in the shop, it's mostly filled with primarily greenery. Like that's it. Flowering doesn't really anything flowering around this time isn't exactly common with the plants that she typically has. So it's when you come in, it kind of smells like a little bit sterile too, because she obviously just cleaned. Windows are clean. What else is there? Yeah, she orders a new dress. She wants a chance to wear it. She hangs it in her closet. And I think that's it for now as far as what she has to offer at her store.
Then a visitor comes by.
Oh.
At some point, you hear the tapping of a cane on the floor.
Interesting.
And dress shoes.
Okay.
And you see Victor standing in your storefront, looking around at everything that's in here. Victor Throckmorton.
Yeah.
Oh,
welcome.
Good evening, miss.
I've been meaning to actually contact you. I was actually going to do that relatively soon. I'm so glad you're able to stop by.
I wanted to see your business and check up on one of my favorites.
Oh, well, it's been a little bit quiet.
Also have a bit of a quest from someone else, so I'm afraid I have to ask some questions of you.
Interesting. Well, I'm more than happy to do that. Would you like to go in a place a little bit more private? We can go into my green room if you like.
Yes, of course.
So she basically leads him, Victor, to her basement. It more or less looks like a lab with bright lights, but all of her wall areas are basically stocked with like fresh greenery for the most part of various stages of plant life.
If there's a chair down there, then he's gonna hang his jacket on it and just sit down, make himself comfortable. He looks very calm, nothing hostile about him. He's just sort of gauging everything around him, taking it all in. There's even a little crooked smile in the corner of his mouth. It looks like
nice.
he at least appreciates something in here. And he looks at you and say, just try to be honest. I'll know if you're not. How is Alex doing, in your opinion? I know
Alex?
it's only been one night, but what's your impression of him?
Yeah, so she basically leads him to a chair, a high chair that kind of swivels near her massive stainless steel table. She's on the other side of it, he's on the other side. She leans in and she's like, well, last time I heard, he was at a concert. He seems uh very charismatic, for the most part, but I also think it comes with his career. Quite flashy. That was basically my first impression.
Flashy. And coming from a Toredo, that might be quite the show then.
It was. It was certainly. Have you been to his place yet?
No, not yet. I don't get out much. I am serving. How do you think he would fare as a prince? Just hypothetically.
As a prince. Well, with how...
Or seneschal if prince is too high up the ranks.
Yeah.
To conceive.
I could see him as a sheriff.
A ventru sheriff.
It's his personality. It's so I feel like he contends with possibly too much on his shoulders with how diplomatic he can be. Again, I haven't seen him exactly follow through on stuff, so he has approached, I think, Bradford, the hold on. Not Bradford. He did talk to Gabriel, which was quite impressive in my opinion. But then again, of the same, really, he talked a pretty good game, but we'll see. Leader, I need to see if he can, our coterie, right? Like if he can lead our coterie, I'm sure there's going to be more opportunities to have bigger titles eventually.
Only you two are entitled to have one. Maybe.
Fair.
I mean, a Ravnos and a Hecata in a council. It's unheard of. And I don't even know about the last one. He's a bit of an enigma.
Very much so. Keeping special eyes out on him.
He's very, very good at not being observed. It took a while to actually find out where I should send the letter.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, that's also unheard of for kindred in general. We're usually pretty each other's business, at least. Well, when the Harpies used to be around, I guess.
Yeah, I haven't, being from London, and then the Chantry fell a year ago, obviously, and it wasn't there for long, because when Mythos reigned, the Tremors were not allowed to congregate or have regents or anything like that. Any power, really.
Yeah.
He does not believe we are a clan, even.
Then where do you practice now? I guess completely on your own?
I have a place. A special place.
Okay.
I can take you there, and then we can go see Alex in Bradford.
I would be very much interested with this. I did have intentions on wanting to bring more people. before really getting into contact with you, because I do think you need to have a good look at everyone else in our coterie, I guess. But I'm very much happy to approach a private escort.
Maybe we can take Alex there, but the other three, not so much. I feel like they
Yeah, I agree.
wouldn't respect not touching anything that's gonna blow up in their face. And I have a special
They,
interest in you. I'm quite interested how you acquired your gift that you're not supposed to have.
um, it's interesting that you know about it,
I
but I'm
sense it.
sure you can sense these things, yes. Um, I guess, you don't really know much about me then?
I know you're Canadian. I know you haven't been in London as long as I have. I know you're not Tremere.
Yep.
And I've been trying to contact where you came from, the court there, to acquire information, but it seems like people are not very happy to talk about you. Almost like they don't want to out of disdain. I mean,
Yeah.
the Tremere that I talked to there, it took a bit of skill, but he didn't say directly that he knew you. I just
Really?
sensed some animosity and some regret and jealousy of all things. Jealous of whom I know not, but not you.
Um, you can see there's a genuine look of like, first kind of a flash of concern, and then all of a sudden, like there was a lot of curiosity, but like fear mixed in with that. Um, she looks to him and it seems, I guess, what I possess caught your attention enough for to do enough research on me. I keep the masquerade. Like, I'm not that occupied with a lot of unnecessary chores at this point of my life, but that could always change considering new coterie at hand. So,
I can tell you have nothing to fear from me yet. At least you haven't stepped on my toes. I'm just interested, and the since Vienna years ago
yes.
in 2009,
Mm-hmm.
the Tremere have been different.
Yes,
I'm
definitely.
more open-minded than some of my cousins about
Interesting.
sharing our gift, because saying it was ours to begin with is a lie. We're not even that old of a clan, and I believe
I've always done that.
the first was the Assamites, or Banu Hakim as some call themselves.
Yes.
But I'm very aware of what a Thespian spy could do for me, especially if she had the proper tutoring in her, let's say, unconventional gift.
Interesting.
I think we can gain something from each other. I can
I
teach,
think too.
and you can spy.
Well, it seems relatively recently we've encountered a significant amount of. The only reason I wanted uh, JK here is because he has quite a bit of insight on the supernatural we've been engaging with, at least recently. So, I need you in the sense of helping us really tackle this whole Mithras thing. And where were you for that? Did you not feel it?
I felt it. I also felt it when they threw fire into the chantry and burned it down. It's like I felt it when Sri Sansa, one of the older, he was diablerized by the heralds. They cut out his eyes and showed it to the ghoul because they wanted the ring and Shri did not want to give it. The Tremere has had a hard time in London for a very long time. And it was only during Queen Anne's reign that we were even allowed to have a chantry.
Really?
Yeah. Mithras holds us equal to Setites. And we are not allowed here.
That's
I have
really
a very
good
special
to know.
place, and I would like to show you that place. We can get Alex first if you want to, but it just requires more of me, because we're not gonna travel there through conventional means. I believe you've seen my portal already.
Yes.
But I'm supposed to be a cab and pick up Bradford anyways, and he's with Alex.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Well, as you know, my affiliation with the Tremere really basically stopped since Canada. So, what do you need from Alex? Would you like? Does he need to be here? Should we just go ourselves?
I came to talk to you. It's fine.
Okay.
You don't need to bring Alex. We can just get him afterwards.
I like that. There's a lot of hands, and should I? Let's go.
Well, it's gonna take a couple of minutes, but you can get yourself prepared. And he looks around. Is there a clean wall without anything on it?
There is. So when you walk through the doorway, the masks are around the doorway. So if you look to basically your right, yeah, there should be like a decent, like pretty much here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's just the shape of a shoulder to shoulder of a person almost. And he starts. He's cutting his own wrist and he's almost pulling the blood out and making intricate symbols and mumbling to himself. And like you can see that he's almost in a trance. It's not really, if you talk to him, he's not going to respond.
Okay.
Starts drawing the mirror frame, and it takes about 10 minutes. Then becomes a blood mirror, and he just gestures you for you to step through, and smiles.
All right. She takes a quick moment, goes to her top floor, grabs her bag, clearly that he senses, her potions, and makes her way down. And she's not a fan of portals, but she'll go through.
You imagine it's gonna be wet, but it's not. You just step through an archway, and then you're in somewhere else. And there's just a wall behind you. It's an old room of wood, very high ceiling. There's not a chandelier, but a giant skull of something hanging there, and you have to shake your head because it can't be, because it looks like a dragon skull, but that's ridiculous. And the rest of the room is just filled with curios and artifacts and old dusty books and tools, magical tools, paintings on the wall of Victor himself.
Okay.
Like grand pictures, very tall, wall to wall, and you see a small wooden staircase spiral staircase leading upstairs, and that's about it. But it takes a while for you to take all the things in. There's quite a lot in here.
Details, information.
It's a lot of new things, and a lot of the things here, they shouldn't exist.
Okay.
Victor, he's quiet as you take it all in. He's just smiling at your reaction, really.
Yeah, so she really is captured by the light that lights up the room, and she analyzes from top to bottom. She doesn't leave out any detail of what possibly any of this could be. Takes mental notes, mental pictures. Really kind of seeps into. She's scared to use her new ability because it might actually overwhelm her. even more. But she's actually kind of pieced by it because it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. Like all the details, the craftsmanship. She looks over to him and she kind of puts a hand out a little bit and be like, it's just Alex just seems to have a lot on his plate. And sometimes the best servant is the one that kind of goes out of their way and takes some tasks on for themselves. It's nothing of that personal, but thank you for bringing me here. It's absolutely a stunning, quite a lovely place. Thank you.
I'm glad you like it. I rescued what I could, and I have a lot of things, but this is just my entrance room. You don't see any doors to the outside. You don't see any windows, anything like that. You almost believe you're underground.
Okay.
Like deep underground.
Interesting.
He waves his hand, and a tray flies through the air with a big glass bottle of what you assume to be blood. And he pours 2 whiskey glasses of all things and hands one to you. He takes a sip of his own so you can see there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Do you drink it?
She smells it first.
It smells like it has quite the kick, like potent blood.
Okay. She takes a sip, but kind of simmers on it and kind of takes in the aroma a bit more.
It's vampire blood, but it's something's been done to it.
Yeah.
You don't get bonded to anything, but that's probably the thing that has been done to it, removing the bonding effect.
Okay. She's a little grossed out, but she's like, you know what? There's not a lot of things that I don't eat, so.
But your hunger goes to 0 after
Really?
the glass, which is quite interesting, because usually you would have to kill one. But this is supernatural blood.
Interesting.
Can I jump back to Alex just for a while?
Absolutely.
Alex, still there having a conversation in the privacy of your resort.
Yes.
Bradford seems more warmed up now. He's more almost proud.
Yeah.
That you, without hesitation, almost has taken on the tasks and have performed well under extreme pressure. And he asks you, apart from the lovely botanist lady, how do you feel like the other 3 is going to fit in? Can they be controlled?
That's a great question. Ravnos can be. He is, as most of his clan are, always walking right on the precipice of losing control, and that is characteristic of them, and that's why they are what they are. Always on the move. But I've tested his willingness to operate under direct control, and I believe he's.
How would he fit in? Is there any title he's worthy of?
I think that if we were to give him a position, I've never ever heard of a primogen of the Ravnos, but and I'm not, but I think something adjacent to it, could be. I think if we have him working for us,
a scourge, perhaps.
Yeah. Although he's very, I would say scourge, but his temperament is not one of, and you might be surprised to hear this, is not one I suspect of a killer.
Oh, we
normally
can
when
make
we
a killer out of him. We
Yeah,
just take
yeah.
away the people he loves, and it's gonna
Exactly.
happen.
Absolutely. We could shape him into that.
And what
But
cannot be controlled or dominated must be destroyed. So I'm
of
sure
course,
he can see the benefits of continuing his existence and having some power for the first
Absolutely.
time in his life, I can imagine.
absolutely.
What about
and
the necromancer?
yeah, the necromancer is well, I'm sure you have had dealings with their clan, and they are resistant to direct control, in my experience. But I think he could be a worthy liaison to us. I have questions about him, though, and he's a mystery to me. How much do you know about him?
Well, he's not Giovanni. He's sireless, I believe. Which is quite impressive. He's managed to keep himself existing for almost 100 years without guidance.
Yeah, it's that I don't know if I trust that because their clan are. I mean, you got the whole family situation thing going on there.
But there's still
So-
a lot of different families being brought
Yeah.
into one banner. But I sensed that he wasn't very accustomed to being around other of us in great numbers.
Yeah,
He has never come to Alicia or anything of the sort.
he feels very independent to me.
Well,
And yeah,
They have been, but times are changing. Even some La Sombra are trying to get into the Camarilla now.
indeed. And
Which is
I-
why
I-
I'm not opposed to the idea of giving some of the lesser ones some kind of power, at least the illusion of having it through titles.
we make do with the tools we have, right? And yeah, I fully I think that there's an opportunity here for him to work with us, and but I'm cautioning you. I'm saying that there's I think there are questions that need to be answered with him. One does not simply exist for a century without a sire or any kind of connection to elders. That's not been my experience, and as you know. So
Well,
I
can tell
would
you
like
as
to
much
know
as
where his allegiances lie truly.
It's not with Mithras. I've made
Yeah.
sure of that.
Okay.
Had a peek inside some heads. Well,
Oh, good.
Not me
Yeah.
personally, but Victor.
Yeah.
To make sure of what they thought of Mithras and myself. Not that I care so much about the second one, because why would I?
Of course. Yes.
It's more to see if, what to expect.
Yeah.
And they're not Camarilla loyalists. I don't expect the Ravnos to be, and the Kata are in a state of confusion. But the assassin, I'm worried about him.
He concerns me too.
I'm not even sure what his clan is. I think he's Gangrel, but I'm not sure. He has the claws. He has the wild eyes.
Yes, he has the claws and the wild eyes. He also, but he doesn't. Yeah, there are questions there too. He doesn't strike me as traditional Camarillist.
If you could get some of his blood, we can confirm it.
Yeah. I'll see what I can do. He seems. Killjoy seems rather uncomfortable in the presence of anyone else. He by turns, comes off composed, but I've seen him lose that in an instant, just like that. And so
He was quite hard to find as well.
yeah,
And he is skilled at what he's doing, I believe.
indeed.
Adrian has acquired him for a task. And I think he's taken the bait and I would like you to help him.
Okay. What is that task, if you don't mind telling me?
Oh, killing a man of parliament in the top floor of the Shard
I see. Could you tell me more?
next Friday. He's
Yeah.
funding Antigen. At least
Okay.
he's one of them. He's an old fart. But,
Do you have a picture of him? Or at least an identity that I can
Oh, not
Google
on
the
me,
picture?
but his name is, and the storyteller looks for it. Charles Dawson.
Charles Dawson. Okay.
I believe you can.
I
What
can-
do they call
I
it?
can-
Google it.
Google it. Yes, exactly. Technology these days, it's very strange and weird.
Yeah,
So,
be wary of it.
yes, exactly. Of course, always.
I mean, Shreknet has been taken down already.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, he's arriving at the Shard next Friday, and I believe Adrian has struck some accord with Killjoy about how to eliminate, and I'm not sure why, but he refused a major boon from me as payment.
If you want, if it helps put your mind at ease, I have been working to understand what it is they all value.
Oh, he wanted the boon, but he was more interested in Adrian's blood. For some reason, I don't know why he wants to be bound to her. But she had
you
her
think he
task, and the task was get him to agree no matter what.
Do you think he has a taste for it?
I've heard rumors of thin bloods disappearing when they were still here. I don't really care what he eats.
I understand that, but
As
there
long as
are
it's not
there
us.
are certain how shall we say traditions that
Oh, obviously
would
you
make
can't go around jeopardizing real kindred,
Right.
but thin bloods, who cares?
right, exactly, yeah. But now he's getting a taste for something other than thin bloods. I'm just I like to pay attention to all the little details.
Maybe you should go through the tenets and just
Yeah.
make sure they understand what the rules are.
Of course, yeah.
Also, for the future, it's fine now. It's just you and me. In the presence of company, you will address me as Prince.
Of course. Of course. Yes.
I have declared praxis,
Okay.
and I expect within a short amount of time that if we don't find the cult of Mithras, they're gonna find us.
Understood.
Or you, rather, not me.
Understood. They will be dealt with. What do you intend to do about Mithras?
Deal. Diplomacy.
Okay.
Find middle ground. He used to use our titles and everything, and I believe that if we can convince him that Queen Anne was a rogue, he should fall back to letting us lead so he can do his travel and all that.
You
As
believe
long
that's
as-
where, yeah.
As long as we make him think he's in charge, then everything should be fine.
Understood. Understood.
I mean, Queen Anne was his seneschal, and I believe I can gain the same power, but remain prince. With a god king. Whatever it takes to stroke his ego and make him think he's in charge. As long as he leaves Britain and goes back to traveling the world and picking up strays. His
I see.
beloved heralds of the sun. I'm also
see.
very keen to meet them. I seem to have missed them last year at every opportunity they arose. They made quite a bit of noise.
Indeed. Indeed.
Is there anything I can do for you? I feel victory is coming.
I need to know that from you that you will, of course, keep me informed of all the potential threats and contacts I need to have in order to facilitate and secure your rule on the throne.
Of course, Charles. You're gonna be my seneschal, my right hand,
Indeed.
My successor. Should it one day come to that.
Yes. So
hopefully not by your hand, and he smiles.
Indeed. What before we conclude here, the PM or the parliamentary member. I don't know what they're called here. It's been a while. I've been abroad a lot. But
it's not a senator. It's senator, but it sort of works the same way. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. I want to know why. What's your information on him?
He's funding Antigen. He knows what we are.
Okay.
He has. Well, his life is of course he has to be removed to send a message and everything, and then if it can be done without breaking the Masquerade, that would be preferable.
Of course.
But I'm really more interested in his briefcase.
His briefcase.
I want to learn where his money comes from, who he's paying, how he's doing it, and what he knows about us. So I can put a span in the whole system.
I understand that.
The whole engine.
If I can make a suggestion. What is there? You said we have until Friday.
Yeah, it's Saturday now. Off game.
Saturday.
So it's
Saturday.
in 6 days.
6 days.
He's not in Britain at the moment. He's gonna arrive on Friday. Adrian has yet to confirm when during the day, or if it's gonna be during the day. But he's gonna stay at the top floor of the Shard, which I believe is also a way to taunt us. It used to be Queen Anne's Haven, and Alicia for us. Obviously, it's not a good idea to go there anymore. But the Ventru symbol is still carved into the fucking elevator.
Of course, and yes, we can't. Yeah, that's obviously a call it a breach of conduct. If there is a possibility for taking him alive, is that an option?
If you can manage it, I would very much like to get in his head.
Excellent. Me too. Yeah, and possibly, someone who doesn't disappear or who isn't dead suddenly, and just going about their business as seemingly always they do, would work better for us, I think. So, as long as I have your approval on that to make that happen, I would like to pursue that possibility as well.
You have to discuss it with Killjoy. It's hard to kill the man, but if you can convince him that a hostage would be good enough, then it's fine.
Course.
You can ensure the boon from me would stay the same.
Absolutely. Excellent.
And whatever incentive he needs. If any of them steps out of line, let me know.
I certainly will.
Also, I have something. Where did I put it? Around his pockets. He takes out. I believe you've seen it before, but it looks a little bit different in the shape. But it looks like a bloodstone.
Okay.
But it's more pill shaped. I want to say. He says, "If you ever need me, swallow this, and I will know where you are."
Okay.
I'll have Victor get you.
Excellent. I appreciate it.
I'm gonna jump back to Naomi, and then you're probably gonna meet. Naomi, you're having a delightful glass of blood and looking at all these things, and Victor's just explaining what some of them are.
Okay.
It's just old relics, and some of them are famous even, or this is just. This is an Egyptian dagger that Cleopatra used stone, and things like that. And this used to be the bracelet of Alexander the Great, and I mean, he seems like a collector.
Yeah, seems like it. Seems like he's got an actual museum going on.
If you have anything you want to discuss, that's fine. Otherwise, he's gonna make a portal for you eventually, for you to step out of.
Okay. How do you feel about Alex?
He is certainly his grandsire's grandchild, as much as he's hard to read. Let's say that. He's hard to look into, as much as yourself, actually. Also piqued my interest. I'm sorry about that. It's just, I have my orders. I have to figure out where people's affiliations are. You might have felt something during early last night.
I feel a lot of things all the time, but yes, that was one of them.
Yeah, well, at least one of them was me.
Okay.
I apologize. It's just orders.
Yeah, I'm learning to get used to it.
You shouldn't let people in. It's a good thing that you resisted. You and Alex are you're very hard to get into. You're strong-willed people, and I believe that you can take charge. It's just with having 3 goons, you can't do it violently. You have to do it another way.
There's gonna be definitely some subtle conversations that we're gonna be needing to engage in, but we gotta wait until
you get
happen.
the feeling that he's misdirecting you from your actual question.
Yeah.
It's just flattery.
She keeps the pleasantries, and she keeps the mask on. She's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. Yeah. If you want to discuss further about whatever we talked about at my location, feel free. Stop by at any time. It's always nice to have you, and I will definitely.
I believe you have my number, correct?
Yes. So she makes sure she double checks with her phone.
You hear, if you call it, you can actually hear the phone ringing upstairs like an old school landline. Yeah.
It's very reminiscent of JK, actually. So yeah.
In his own home, it takes not as long to make the mirror.
Okay.
Alex, you're standing there and talking, and you see a blood mirror appear on one of the blank walls.
Impressive.
Bradford just looks at it for a second as he's continuing the conversation, and Naomi steps out of it.
Well, hello.
Bradford, he just bows to you both and says, I must take my leave. And steps into the mirror, whereas it disappears. You're standing in, you believe it's Alex's resort, but it's not a room you've been in.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Naomi tries to hold back that she's kind of nauseous from going through the portal, but she starts looking around like, all right. But then sees Bradford and was like, oh, okay. Good to know.
Good evening.
Hello. How are you this evening?
Oh, I'm just wrapped up a show, and also had a conversation with Prince Blackstone.
Her eyes get really wide and was like, okay.
Yeah. He's got to look at her like, yeah, that happened. Yes. It seems that the Camarilla structure is coming together well. We're safe here.
Okay.
This is one of my rooms. Apparently Victor did his portal thing and just had you come right here.
Definitely seems to know where people are.
Indeed.
It's always good to know.
Right? They all do. They all seem to know where we are. So starting with last night, with certain notes on our delivered to us. So I don't think that's in question. Yeah, they're aware of where we all are.
Yes, she looks at her phone. She notices, like, so how was the concert? Was that good?
The concert was excellent. It was great. I think it went off very well. Everybody that attended seemed pretty happy. Some of them are still
Good.
here, and some new marketing materials were sent out. Your cell phone reception might not work in here
Okay.
for obvious reasons.
Yeah, that was an old text.
Yeah. So, it was a success, a resounding success.
There's a knock on the door.
Of course. Come in.
A waitress. she pokes her head in. Says, "Mr. Harris is asking for you, sir. Mr. Harris is the guy, like the man in charge.
Yeah. Of course.
Of security and everything. Usually also your driver."
Okay. Is he waiting out? Is he waiting outside, or just
in the lobby? I apologize for intruding, sir.
Okay. Do you have anything to share with me about anything tonight, or before we go and talk to my head of security?
Talking to Naomi, or
Yeah,
she's gone again. Yeah, really fast. She's very like that kind of nervousness you get when you're the boss.
And yes, exactly. Yeah. He just kind of sees her off. Yeah. Anything you want to talk about? You obviously got here, but yes, exactly. You got here via portal. I see. That's not how you normally travel. So.
Yeah. So she kind of avoids that question for a second, but what gives you like a nice smile and just kind of looks at Bradford, and most of her energy is paid attention to him being in the room.
He is gone.
Oh, he's gone? Okay, cool.
He left through the portal you came.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And that's gone now. It's just
okay.
Yeah, you are completely alone in the room right now.
Okay. So she looks at him. Is this safe?
Yes, we're safe in here.
Makes sense with him being here.
With your heightened senses now, you can hear the chatter of people and glass clanging and like people. And you smell the food and like very high class gathering or event outside, and the music and everything, people having a good time.
Yeah, she's been to some like high fashion runway stuff before, so she knows what the after parties can kind of look like. So I think it's less anything you would like to talk about, Alex?
When last you were here,
yes,
and of course you will see when we walk out there. I believe you had mentioned. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you had mentioned some interest in the plants that I have here, the trees and the garden and everything like that. Have you? That's something you do, right?
Yeah. So you're very aware of my shop because I mentioned it first as a safe place to go to. I am. We can definitely discuss that. As far as the Victor situation, I was meaning to get a hold of him, but he actually found me first. So I told him I was basically looking for the rest of the coterie, and then he led me here. So, and
I've seen.
Sorry,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, it was just. I guess it was a convenient way of travel.
Indeed.
Again, I still don't know how he fully does it, but we'll keep that in the back pocket. But she looks around again once more and then back at him, and so you're done for tonight. Your concert, I guess.
The show's over. Yes. The show is concluded. The guests will either stay or depart as they wish to. As is the way of things here.
Okay.
They will just be enjoying themselves as they wish. And every one of them has been, it's all good. Security is good here, and so you don't need to worry about any kind of problems in that regard.
Yeah.
They're all good people. They all check out.
Well, I figured they're all under your gaze, so
Mm-hmm.
and you're pretty good at weeding out the best of them. So
Oh,
um,
we got enough to deal with, that, as it were, right?
quite a bit,
if last night
actually.
was any indication.
It was more than enough. Uh, as she kind of looks back to like her phone to kind of look at her schedule, it was like, yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure that you're okay with going into business mode now.
Yes.
Um, so I guess is there a couch or a seat? Is there any place to sit to discuss business?
The penthouse.
Yes, absolutely. The penthouse. And how urgent do I feel it is that Mr. Harris speak to me right now? Because if we're going to have a conversation, I
I
want to
mean,
make
you're
sure.
gonna run into him on the way.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. All right. So yes, of course. Let's go ahead and head up to the penthouse, and we can talk business.
Perfect.
Straight to the point. And so yeah, he says, "Come with me," and he leads her out.
As you walk into the lobby,
Yeah.
from where you take your elevator, your own
Exactly.
private elevator.
Yeah.
Mr. Harris, you meet his eyes, and he just steps very close to you, like his face is here, so other
Right.
people can't hear.
Exactly.
He says, Judith is not eating. She called me a butt monkey and threw something after me and said get some real food. She doesn't look well. Should I call a doctor or a physician of some sort?
I'll tell you what. Why don't?
She's still upstairs, so I'm sure she didn't leave, but she wanted to get out and get some food, and
Sure.
whatever we brought her wasn't good enough.
Understood. Can you let her know that I will be there to help her get something good to eat, momentarily.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just tell her to, that I'm on my way. We'll get her something delicious.
He goes behind the reception and picks up a phone that your internal landlines.
Yeah, exactly, right. Exactly.
Naomi, he says, you can hear it as you're walking to the elevator because your senses is like, Mr. Kairos is coming as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Naomi, you can hear, I don't want Mr. Kairos, you fucking idiot. I want something to eat, and it hangs up.
Okay. All right. Shall we? And he steps into the elevator.
Yeah.
Make sure she doesn't get anything else to, make sure you keep an eye on her, Mr. Harris. Thank you very much. So yeah.
As you ascend and step out into the giant penthouse, you hear Spice Girls on full fucking volume coming from the other side. And Judith is sliding out from a room in a robe and like the fucking the child turban and singing into a hairbrush. Her back is to you guys right now. She hadn't noticed you're coming in. It's just your penthouse is basically the size of a house, so she's on the other wing, but you can hear and see her. She hasn't noticed you yet. Just dancing around, and she seems happy.
Yeah,
so
of course.
You don't know what that was about, but
understood. Yeah, and Alex is gonna look at Naomi and go.
Yeah, so she's like, I guess.
If you want to avoid her, you can, and just turn to a different section so she doesn't see you or bother you. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Naomi tries to hide a little bit of her presence, as in that moment. But she's going to definitely keep eyes and want to have a conversation with her relatively. Actually, you know what? She's just happy that she's having a good time. She's better than being in a bloody bunker, dead body. So.
Right, exactly. Yeah, she's having a very good time, it seems like. Alex he wants to introduce himself, but he's just going to also kind of move along.
Business first.
Yes, business first, and then we will deal with the child.
So, I imagine the room to be like this huge thing where the couch area was and the bar behind
absolutely.
it. And the rooms further down. So you turn left into one of the very secure and private rooms that you have that
Absolutely.
phones don't work in, and it's soundproof and everything, and
Yeah.
sit down on a giant conference table
Excellent.
with its own bar and everything beneath
Exactly.
it, or
Yeah.
not beneath, but inside the table. There's a cooled bar even if you're too lazy to walk 20 minutes to the other bar that's out there.
I mean, one can never have too much to drink. And, Alex gracefully, basically, pours himself a bottle of Pinot Grigio and sits down and, with the glass. He knows that at least he's never seen Naomi like drink, the alcohol before. So he's not going to offer this time. He trusts that she's just like every other kindred in that way. So he's going to just kind of sit there with the glass and say, so let's talk business.
Yeah, so Naomi, previously to that, was actually kind of enjoying the music, and then looks
you can't hear it in here. It's just
good.
Yeah.
That was her walking in, and then she kind of like perks her eyebrows up, being like, "Oh, I'd just be interested to see how he handles her as a parent."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
she walks in. She kind of feels a little bit self-conscious because she feels like she's incredibly underdressed, like she's only in like workout attire.
Yeah.
From running her shop. So she kind of takes one of the seats, properly sits down etiquette-wise, and looks to him. And so I am looking to expand. It seems like you're more well versed, incredibly, in that. This is my first big upgrade, so I'm looking at new branding and all that kind of stuff. And you definitely mentioned that earlier. Yeah. So, if you have any guidance on that, I'd highly appreciate your input. For the most part, I'm looking to. She's trying to put a word on it, like have a healthy gap of bridging the kindred life with the human life in more harmony. Like that's her intention, if they know it or not.
He said, yeah. Alex says, that's exactly what I want to do too. In case it, I mean, with what you see here, obviously, I maintain strong connections to the human world. I want to maintain that. I want to keep it here. Everything I do is to keep that exactly as it is in a healthy relationship. And he says, and I can absolutely help you with your business. You're looking to expand. I don't know, I haven't seen your place yet, but I think there are definitely opportunities for you to expand into a nicer place, a place that reflects your interest in growing things and maintain those healthy human relationships. That is exactly what I intend to do here. I believe in it deeply. Like it's something that I personally carry. This is one of the reasons why, instead of just a regular concert venue or club or anything else, this place looks the way it does. You have water, you have plants, things that represent life and beauty, and beauty and truth, those go together pretty well.
Yes. Yes. She definitely, her ears kind of perk up in the sense where she actually does want to expand her place in more of a sense of aquatics as well. So working with more aquatic plants and making her haven more of like an oasis for the most part, living in the fairly antisocial downtown Britain. Yeah. So she is interested in definitely probably seeing Ground Zero at some point, because
Absolutely.
Why not discuss more business when seeing what you're actually working with, right?
Yeah.
And then as far as finances, she's like, no, I did inventory. It seems like our profits are doing quite well. I would like to get into more show plants. And she kind of like goes on about details about how in the botany community there's certain ways to kind of propagate some really rare exotic plants that don't exactly do well. Like they're pretty much almost exclusively extinct in the natural world, but within humane society, they've seemed to actually caught quite a bit of an eye. It's like your showpieces, right? So
Absolutely.
um, without going into more like scientific detail around that, because some of them they need more aquatic. They're incredibly old for the most part. The older the plant, the usually more dependent on water they are. So, outside of that, have you been keeping in touch with our coterie? How do you know how any of them have been?
Alex, you still have the walkie-talkie from Killjoy.
I do. And I don't know, would that indicate that he's trying to call me? Because I believe he did at some point earlier in the night, or
he tried to figure
Yeah.
out how to get in touch with you, but then he saw on the internet that you have a concert.
Yes, exactly.
So no, it's I don't believe we're at the point yet where shit hit the fan for the others.
Okay.
And he started calling around, and you haven't received the satellite phones either, because obviously you haven't met up.
He says, since last night, I haven't heard anything from them.
Okay.
I hope, that everything is all right. But sometimes, I can't be there 100% of the time.
Yes.
Yeah, and so I trust that they are keeping out of trouble. Alex would like to do just a quick mock-up, a quick demonstration to Naomi about, what he can do for her financially.
Okay.
He's going to lean in close. He says, I trust that your knowledge of plants has already impressed me. And he says, I imagine that given the favorable climate that we have here for so many different plants. Yes. And he's talking about the UK at large, he says that some of them require not only a lot of care, but also a bit of, I'm sure you have contacts and people that you reach out to in order to import said plants.
I do.
That's excellent. He says, I'm certain that not certain, but I suspect that some of these are a little bit more difficult to acquire, or perhaps might not even be, how shall we say, plants that everybody wants you to acquire.
Yeah, she has a couple of names, just like she wants to say them, but she's like, no, okay. And then she continues listening.
Yeah. It says, so it can make it very difficult, right? Facilitating those kinds of transactions. Yes?
I haven't seemed to have too many troubles, but then again, I haven't exactly gotten strong contact with the specific ones that I'm actually looking for. But yes, I would take.
It's also the thing that you're not a huge thing or a huge business, so people are not looking into what you're doing.
Yeah.
Would it be safe to say?
I'd like to keep it on the down low.
Would it be safe to say you use mostly cash?
Half and half. I would say strongly. 60%.
What do you know about Bitcoin?
Please don't. I don't want to do NFTs.
It's 2013.
I know. This Bitcoin's the only thing in 2013. So he's like, what do you know about Bitcoin? Yeah.
Yeah, and it would have been quite okay.
Now is the time.
Yeah.
She looks
exactly.
to him.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, my technology, I'm not exactly a aficionado of the black internet. The dark web, if you will. Yeah. So technology is a little outside of my grasp, but financially, what do you do with that?
So what he's going to do right now, and I'm going to go ahead and make a roll of this, and hopefully it works.
Okay.
But so he's going to make just a flourish of demonstration of how he can move money, and basically like that. Just on, he pulls out, it's not exactly a napkin, but it's just like a slip of notepad paper that's right there. Begins scribbling a few figures down, transactions and everything like that. So I'm guessing with our storyteller here, it's going to be finance plus his specialty. I assume, I don't know, charisma or intelligence for him to kind of flourish his financial
Are you trying
cryptocurrency skills.
to explain how it works, or are you trying to just impress?
I'm trying to impress.
Yeah, charisma for sure.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So
If
I'm
you were
going
trying to teach how it works, then it would be intelligence.
Yes.
But yeah, finance, and if you have a specialty, yes, of course.
I do. So charisma plus finance and modifier of cryptocurrency there. Submit.
3. 3 is it.
It's not going to be enough.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
It's certainly impressive. You don't really understand it on that level, Naomi, but it's very, very clear that it works for him, and that he knows exactly what he's doing with it.
Yeah.
It might not be. I mean, people will probably assume that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is a gamble and it's not real money and everything, but Alex seems like the guy with a plan and a long-term vision, and he knows which horse to bet on, almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever you personally think of it, I'll leave to you, but Alex for sure believes that this is a way to earn money and move money and do things undetectable, because there's no country in charge of that currency.
Exactly. So he explains all this, and he's like, this is the future. He says, in terms of all the kinds of finance we need to do that can't be, this is international.
Yeah.
It's not traceable. It's and
it's easier than hoarding gold.
Yes, exactly. So he says, this is something that I've invested in. Initially, it's part of how I keep my finances under the radar, as it were. And he says it's a great way to conduct transactions in a currency that is stable, or at least even increasing in value from now until possibly whenever. And it's coded in like that. So he, without going into too many details, he's basically going to explain how this is the perfect currency for Kindred, in the sense that, this is how you move larger sums of money without anybody being able to trace it at all. Operation Antigen, nobody can trace this. It doesn't even matter how much tech resources they have.
So hypothetically, out of your portfolio, how much percentage would this take up for you?
So
he's prying at your finances.
Yeah. So basically, he's going to say that I can definitely invest in you and set up. Okay. I can talk to my people and contract a place for you that's secure, that would showcase what you have and bring it fully to market in a legal way as well as a secure way. And I would be able to invest with you on that. I would of course need your finances too, and and then I would commission my people as well to start transferring your money into a more secure and untraceable form.
Giving her profit margin was a given. That was completely fine with that.
Exactly. So he's like, so what he's suggesting here is pooling the resources and then making them more secure so that they pass through all the electronic currency and things like that, to make sure that certain people are not able to follow that or trace it. And it
she's
looks
more than happy
legit.
She's more than happy to give like a vague presentation on her history up to this point. She just kind of leans in. She's like, "What do you sell?" Like,
he says, "I have a number of products on the market besides my music."
What's your cash cow?
I work in a number of different pots. My cash cow primarily is the concerts and the music. But as you know, it is also this building.
Yes.
And the revenue stream I bring in there with celebrities and events. I also have a certain cocktail I have patented,
Yep.
which we are, we've brought to market recently, as well as
Chemical?
bath salts.
Yeah.
Cocktail, not chemical, alcoholic.
Oh,
A
okay.
brand, it's called Lacrimosa.
Mm.
And so we have, so I've diversified my portfolio, as it were. And I
Yes.
have a number of different investments, as well as, of course, in investing in the cryptocurrency and things like
Yeah.
that. So,
She
a
doesn't.
number of different streams of income.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
Yeah,
she likes seeing a diverse portfolio.
yeah,
So
Trust
yeah,
funding and
yeah, exactly,
yes.
right.
stock trading
Yeah,
and
She
exactly.
knows
Yeah.
as a venture, he's like, yeah, he has a trust fund. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, and he has stock options and everything else that he uses on a regular basis. So yeah,
Yeah. So she nods. Okay. She is not nearly as skeptical as she was like 5 minutes ago. And she's like, okay, I too also need a diverse portfolio.
yeah,
And she kind of shies, like tries not to show a little bit embarrassment as far as like that's the only thing she's kind of put her money into is basically plants at this point and like a bit of branding. But like,
well, you're doing well. It's taking you a while to get where you are,
yes, exactly.
but it's like right now it seems like everything's booming finally after the financial crisis and everything in the world.
Yeah.
And like you have actually the ship is not sailing right now. You actually have
Yes.
goods on it, and you can expand more. So it
Okay.
makes sense either to just buy the buildings around your shop,
Hmm.
or like you're not quite sure if you want to move some of the more delicate plants, but you would know how.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. She's definitely
It's more
last.
let's call them the intelligent ones are gonna be harder to move.
Yes. Yes. And she definitely knows more about that. Yeah, she's been looking at real estate for at least like the last 2 months straight, like every day, just being like, okay, well, where can I go? Where can I go? But
The
yeah,
buildings
so
close to your shop are apartment complexes, so
okay.
they're spacious, but also a bit difficult to acquire, or
Hmm.
expensive at least.
Okay. So she looks back at Mr. Kairos and was like, well, thank you. And she does give him one of her business cards, which has been, I think, the first out of the entire coterie. And you've already have my contact. Um, I will definitely keep you in touch when I'm willing to update. I am very close to expanding, so like fairly close, I should say.
good, good. I would, in exchange, I would like to, be able to kind of see your operation.
Absolutely. I want
You
you
know,
to look over my business. Absolutely.
absolutely. To be able to, confer with my people and talk to them about what needs to be done.
Hmm.
There may also be an opportunity to expand on this particular location as well,
Beautiful.
and build on the security and safety that we've already established here.
Are
I
you
I, have,
looking to offer some real estate? Is that
I
what you're insinuating?
I am insinuating that there could be an expansion in the works here that would
Oh,
would actually work very well with both of our interests. This is meant to be Pairidaeza is a paradise garden. That's the translation of it. That's what it's meant. And I believe that what you're doing fits exactly inside that theme and inside
mhm.
that project. So I've been looking for an opportunity to showcase and transform and add on more opportunities for that to this location as well. So I think that with an expansion project, talking to some of my people, the
Mhm.
locations around here, there's room for expansion, I believe.
Yeah.
Uh,
She kind of leans in and was like, well, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I am an expert in uh, taking care of plants, and my project or productivity is quite um, unusual considering our condition or because of our conditions. So I'm more than happy to approach helping you on your um, forever project.
Fantastic, fantastic. That's what I want to hear. And we might even be able to open a certain wing of that up to the public, or market certain products
Yes.
to them. You know.
No, she's definitely likes the idea of having a front
Yeah.
row seat to showcase some quite interesting works of art.
We could make that happen for sure. One last question.
Sure.
You got here via portal.
Yes.
There's only one person I know so far that knows how to do that. Is he?
Have you met him?
I've seen you do things that I've never seen other kindred do. So is he part of that? Is he helping you? Is
Well, since we've known from the beginning, he is, well, you know from our last couple of nights that he uh, can see quite a bit into a lot of things, and I actually don't know what his mind is ultimately capable of, as far as what he knows, but he is an important asset that's clearly above myself. If there's anything specific that you want to know about him, I'm more than happy to divulge, but frankly, there wasn't. He just more or less gave me a possible opportunity for a unique, what do you call it? Task is probably the best word for it, but it's still, I need to know a little bit more about it before I say yes. So same thing with you, Bradford. Um, it'd be really interesting to know how apparently that relationship went, since now he's the prince.
Yeah. Alex is, yeah, he's going to be more direct. He says,
Okay.
is Victor tutoring you?
No, I'm not under him.
Okay.
Actually, so she is quite honest, and there was quite a bit of a fallout between the Tremere and herself. Surprisingly, she wasn't exactly that triggered within his presence, but the fact that he did bring up some fairly personal information was quite surprising, considering he apparently did his research. Not a lot of people know about that, so whatever you need to know about him as far as that goes, you're going to have to know a bit more about me. So no, he is not tutoring me.
Okay. Do you have any interest in being tutored by him? What are your hopes for that particular relationship? And then I'll tell you about Prince Blackstone.
There is some things I would like to learn. It's kind of interesting because I do have experience with being a ghoul, so, and I don't. It's a hard relation. That was a hard relationship, and I don't look forward to even remotely going back to any sort of that in our connection, I should say. So,
Of course not. I wouldn't have you do that either.
yeah, the context of us meeting was I was actually going to branch out and reach to him once the coterie was once together again, but I really do think the conversation between JK and him would have been a lot more enlightening than what me and him would have discussed. But yes, I do have some skills. They can be utilized, as she's tried to bring up a couple of times, I guess, prior with the coterie. But beyond that, I would like for you to even speak to him. It was just sad that it was so brief that he left. So
yeah. Well, good. Maybe we can arrange that meeting in the future here. And I like Victor. I think he offers a lot of potential, especially with the given personality that we are dealing with.
Yes.
I think it's good to have him on our side.
Yes.
As well as make sure that the relationship between the two of you is indeed a healthy one and a good one for both of us and him, mutually beneficial, as it were. And then he says, "What's to say about Prince Blackstone? He he obviously knows what he wants. He's made it
Yes.
very clear that he wishes to be prince and has acquired that. I think at this moment, that's a good thing, um, given that the Camarilla needs some structure,
Yes.
and that there needs to be at least a guiding hand at all times on that. A Camarilla without a prince is hardly a Camarilla at all. So
Yes.
that's something that I'm glad to see has happened. Something that I felt was inevitable, given his status and his clan is typically the one to lead the Camarilla's vision. And so he says, so he came by to basically inform me that that has indeed taken place, that he has indeed declared praxis
Okay.
on London, and and that he will be moving forward with plans to, and he says, take care of or remove a certain Charles Dawson,
Interesting.
a member of Parliament.
Is he kindred?
Dawson?
Why do we care about him?
He apparently is working with the other side, as it were, and informing on us, and causing us problems and bankrolling, and things like that. Working against us in his capacity and role as a member of Parliament.
And that has been confirmed specifically. We know this.
Well, given the best information that Prince Blackstone has for us, that's what we know. Although he also told me and informed me that a certain coterie member of ours who's very good at removing targets, has been a proposition has been sent across. A deal has been struck through Adrian to Killjoy to address that particular threat. I made a suggestion to the prince that perhaps it would be better to try to take him alive, if possible. I feel that certain people are much more useful to us alive than deceased, as it were. And so I think we have a number of opportunities there, alternatives even, to be able to pursue that situation. He says that we must deal with that in 6 days' time, Friday being the day that this person arrives in London, and then Saturday being the day that we currently are, or at least as the information has been told to me, that the deed is supposed to take place. So we have some time to prepare. But I thought I'd bring you up to speed on that, because that is something we are all going to be involved in, hopefully, and a threat that we need to deal with.
So she kind of pieced it together that the only person it strikes that would have the personality to complete something that would be Killjoy.
Yeah.
So, and then she kind of thinks and reflects, ponders, and she kind of leans in. She's like, "Well, what do you think about our lower plans?"
I think I think Vaughn is Vaughn. I think that he's fun. He's fun, and I detect it. Provided he feels he has enough leash, right? Enough length on his leash, he's good. And obviously left to his own devices, he might be problematic. But I feel like provided he is taken care of in the way that would prevent such incidents from happening, and he seems pretty amenable to working together, which I'm that pleases me.
Yes, it strikes me interesting that for someone who's so independent, or self-claims to be so independent, is quite. I honestly think he's just really kind of around to want to have a really good time, and I think I'm surprised your rock show didn't kind of attract himself to that. So, no, I'll keep him around.
Yeah. I think he's very useful, and I think there's a lot of possibilities. And I would definitely, I mentioned this before, but I would like to see the extent of his capabilities during a rock show in ways that might impress the audience, that technology itself, mundane technology, might not be able to do. I think that would be a potentially very interesting and entertaining experience for the concert goers. Something
like
that
it would definitely hit the news for sure.
Yes, exactly. In a way that, would make everyone just want to be at the next one, in a huge way. I think he has a place for sure, and I think his abilities are definitely hold a lot of potential. As for JK, I don't know too much about him, and I was hoping that maybe you might know more.
Yes.
He seems a little odd. Anybody whose best friend is in a suitcase they carry around with them is like that's strange.
I'd like to think that it's more than just his best friend that's in the suitcase. But
that there are others.
I'm not good at reading bones, but I think there's a couple in there at least. But she kind of really thinks back, and like you could see a kind of a warm look over her face, just having memories of JK and her being like quite a friends for like that was actually one of the first people that I met in England actually. He helped me settled in actually. He saved my life once. So he can have your back too.
I like
you
that.
Just make sure you just acclimatize to his climate. That's it. It's not much to him. Politics is really actually so, and that kind of brings something else up back to Bradford. She's really interested. Is there anything you guys really don't agree with? Because I know that's one thing Naomi and JK, they're not always politics. That's actually where they clash the most, so they try to stay away for as much as possible. But did you guys really, with Bradford kind of in charge now, I guess, is there anything you really disagree with when it comes to what he's bringing to the table for us?
Bradford has his plans and his designs, as I'm sure all of us do.
Yes.
I think that it's important to know that I'm not just a copy of Bradford.
Yes.
I have my own visions and plans and designs.
But not to say no to an elder when he's
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yes, of course.
Yes, exactly right. Yeah, and he says in time, by rule of succession, I would ascend to princedom myself.
Yes.
That's what I have ambitions and designs of doing.
Yes.
Therefore, in my opinion, we need a Camarilla to exist and to have power. And Bradford is doing that right now. He's doing what I consider to be the legwork of making sure that structure remains in place and trying to secure the future of that.
He's definitely taking first steps at pitting a new path. Do you think he respects you?
I think he does.
Okay.
I think he yes, I think he respects me. And I think he appreciates what I'm doing so far for him.
Okay.
And I do think that as time goes along, we will be able to develop that relationship further. But obviously, I am also aware that not everybody cares for our current prince in the same way. And those waters and those hurdles will have to be crossed and negotiated in a way that obviously Bradford came to me and said that, for example, like this Mr. Dawson, he has to be removed from the equation. And I suggested another possibility, which he then was happy with. That's kind of how I work. Bradford may have his designs and his plans, but I also am willing to present alternatives that may also work. and that's kind of what I foresee as our future.
Yeah. So basically everything, you can kind of tell she's like taking this pretty seriously because it's like our new world government at this point.
Yeah.
And she's like, I all my other questions are left once we have a good idea on what our council looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. Killjoy, to bring up the last of our coterie,
Absolutely.
is currently he was the most he strikes me as the most how shall I say, the kind word for it is independent, and that's concerning.
He scares
Because,
me.
yeah, I don't quite know where his loyalties lie.
Yes.
And I don't quite know what he wants exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And those are concerning factors, because knowing what someone wants is the key to getting them to work with you.
Yeah, finding compromises.
Exactly.
So
I would love to know, first of all, I know that Vaughn is a Ravnose.
yes.
I know that you're a Rose.
Yes.
And I know that JK is Hekata,
Mm-hmm.
or at least one member of that family, whatever they call
Yes,
themselves.
but we're gonna try to avoid that around our society. We got to keep that on the down low.
Right, exactly. I agree, but I have no idea what Killjoy is, and I think there's we need to find that out.
Yes, so she definitely knows that Naomi wants to see him in more different types of presences to see his particular reactions, to get more information on seeing his patterns, his ways of really kind of picking up his unique spirit, if he's ever even going to pour any information. She basically looks to Alex and, well, I don't want to say this is a little bit typical of me, but I do think you have a good way of finding that out. If not, I'm more than happy to express my Toreador charms.
Excellent. I'm just letting you know that we need to make sure that we know as much as possible about each other in order to help each other in our endeavors. And he's a little bit of a question mark for me.
Yeah, she tries to not, like, she leaves a bit of the serious tone behind and was like, I just want to know what the fucking dude, how he ticks. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Me too.